All right. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is who people call God. Yahweh Shai is who people call Jesus. Double honor to the apostles over the Great Millstone Church, as well as the elder bishops. Salutations. And to the rest of the Akim, also the branches hold forth this true word for true life and all true faith and sincerity. Shalom. All right. So this is as you see, it says no quote unquote no kings, quote unquote no kings protest is Saturday in Potsdam. So this is just another uh instance of, you know, again, all holy hell pretty much breaking forth, and people going against the regime, the powers that be, in the way that they rule, and it being the sign that obviously they're off, you know, because scriptures tell you when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, and this is the form of mourning is in a form can be seen also in the form of protest. All right. So again, no kings protest is Saturday in Potsdam. All right, uh, North Court Country Neighbors for Civic Engagement is hosting a quote unquote No Kings rally this Saturday in Ives Park, Potsdam, for 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. aimed at promoting civic engagement and community dialogue. So, quote unquote, no Kings protest. Okay, what is no Kings protest? What is no Kings protest meaning? So it says the no Kings protest, also known internationally as the No Dictators or No Tyrants protest, is a series of demonstrations. Is a series of demonstrations, largely in the United States, against what the organizers describe as authoritarian policies of Donald Trump and corruption in his administration. So, what is the No Kings rule? The No Kings Act will reaffirm that presidents and vice presidents, which is obviously where you get the No Kings protest, because these people believe in this act or right that they believe they have, right? That these same people that they're protesting against, said themselves, which will make them damn hypocrites, you know? And that's why these people feel like they can call them out. And this is how you know, obviously, that these people that are ruling, this man is the damn devil, the so-called white man, starting with the elites. All right? It says, so the No Kings Act would reaffirm that presidents and vice presidents do not have immunity for actions that violate U.S. criminal law. No president or vice president, let me read that again. No, the No Kings Act will reaffirm that presidents and vice presidents do not have immunity for actions that violate U.S. criminal law. All right, so they doing things that are completely against the law. That's completely illegal. That's violating people's rights. You know, and it's a complete draconian rule, basically. You know, which is basically like cruel, oppressive reign rule. Which is why in the Bible it said there will be a dragon rulership going on. You know, which is what referring to the so-called white man. Obviously, that's how we see this manifested. So again, in the Bible, the Lord calls this man a dragon, so people can understand. You know that they're seeing exactly what they're seeing, and that they would like you should have been expecting this because the Lord said this is how it's gonna be. You know, so everything playing out as it is being revealed and responded to as it was said to be, and as it should be responded to, if you will, just in the sense of it being the Lord's will, you know. So this devil is being called out, and there is draconian legislation going on, and this man is a damn devil, and so forth and so on. And this is a wicked rulership. All right. And that's basically that. It says no president or vice president, former or sitting, will be entitled to immunity from criminal prosecution for actions that violate the criminal laws of the United States. So in other words, they are supposed to go down like everybody else, and they will go down. So with that being said, we're going to go to Sirach 10 in the GNT, and this is dealing with rulers. All right. Let's start at 3. An uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will go strong if its rulers are wise. So we see this dang government completely crumbling. All right. It's completely crumbling. It's not growing strong. People are completely against the government. Okay. So with that being said, let's go back here. All right. So again, it says the Lord sees to the government. The Lord sees to the government of the world. So he watches who's ruling. All right, because he created that earth to be inhabited. And the earth is given to whom the Lord will give it to. All right. That's Daniel 2. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can grab that too real quick. Daniel 2. Slocky. Bear with me. Daniel 2 and 21. He changed the times and the seasons. He removed kings and set it up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. All right, so why is the Lord removed kings and set up kings? Because the king has been put in position to rule. All right, and rule and righteousness and lead the people. So if they're not doing that, the Lord is going to remove them. All right. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon before we go back to Sirach 10 in the GNT. Wisdom of Solomon, 6 and 1. Hear, therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, ye that rule the people. See that? So if people wilding out, is usually due to, and acting like a bunch of wild men because, and being greedy and all this type of other stuff is usually because of the king, the ruler, and even more specifically because the king and ruler is like that himself. Sirach 10 and 1 is because a wise ruler in the GNT will educate his people, and his government will be orderly. Laws that make sense. Laws that are kept. Laws that people ain't supersede. It says all the officials and all the politicians and all the citizens will be like their ruler. See? So this is why the ruler is to hear, because they're the one that rule the people. So if the people are in an uproar, right, and causing chaos, it's because of the ruler. It's because the ruler is doing that in the uproar and causing chaos. And the ruler, again, is who? Well, the ruler would be, in this case, the dang king. All right. And just to prove that real quick, this is Psalms. How would a ruler be in uproar and, and causing chaos? Well, uproar, let's see. Psalms 2:2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord uh, and against his anointed, saying, right? And matter of fact, do you want better? Let's go to Psalms 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. Now, what we're going to do now is, let's get that word tumult. What does it mean when it says thy enemies make a tumult? And who is that talking about? Well, so you can know, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. See that? And against thy hidden, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who is this talking about? This is talking about who this same chapter was just talking about. Psalms 2. Right? Because it say that these people take counsel together. So the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, see, in ways that are going against how the Lord wants the earth to be ran, which is going to cause people to be, going against Yahweh. They coming together. This is who is taking crafty counsel here, because it say the rulers do it. That's who come together and hold counsel, the rulers. But they coming together in ways that are adverse to life. So now we got people all over the place, and now it's a problem. But again, the point was what? The point was the Lord is going to get done, because the king will be responsible for this. But to not get too far off for what I was just previously saying, before I get to that, how we know is, well, how do you have the kings basically in the uproar and chaos? Because what does this word tumult mean? It says again, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. But the only people that take counsel together, according to Psalms 2:2, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. And the rulers are the kings. So only the kings take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, so that's that. So it says these rulers, these kings are getting together, and they're making a tumult. Because everything going on was prophesied to happen. When you get that word tumult, you got the word Hamah.
Strong's H 1993. Hamah. Hamah.
And it says what? See? Roar. See? Rage. Look, be in an uproar. Cannot make this up. So they wilding. So that's how you have, let's come back here now. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 3. Therefore there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Why? Because that is the disposition that the ruler is taking. See? Sirach 10:2 in the GNT, all the officials and all the citizens will be like their ruler. See that? So the uproars of the citizens is because the damn devil is in the uproar for all types of reasons. It's all about what they want. You see that from these people as well. And what they don't want, what they want to be against. You see that from these people as well. You see that from these people because that's what the ruler is doing. people are in the uproar because these people, these rulers, these elites, these so-called white people running the earth, the kings, they are in the uproar. Hence, they made a tumult. They're literally trying to go against Yahweh Basham Yahushua, against his people. You know? They're doing everything they can to try to be better than us, so they stealing, they keeping everything they sell, they damn lying, it's just doing all type of madness going on. You see? So this is why the Lord has kings removed and set up. So again, was in Solomon 6:2. So give ear ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For the power is given you of Yahweh, right, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. You see that? So this is why they're being exposed. You know? And now these people are in the wrath to give praise to Yahweh Basham Yahushua. You know? In other words, so that they not supposed to be doing this. You see that? In America, we don't have kings and we don't stand for chaos. You see? These people ain't kings. They have set themselves. These people don't want kings. Because they said there ain't no kings. Because they told them there wasn't no kings. You see, this whole thing is just corrupt. So it says, and we don't stand for chaos, corruption, and cruelty, along with thousands of groups across the country. Right? Can't really read the rest of this, but it says North Country neighbors for civic engagement is calling for a peaceful rally to defend our, you know what that go into, because they want you to pay for the rest or whatever, sign up. But a big no kings protest uproar is coming up. So these people are going against the rulers. All right. So it says, for power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. All right. So I'm going to jump to the point. Unto you, therefore, O kings, do I speak, that ye may learn wisdom and not fall away. But they are going to fall away, because they're not ruling in the wisdom of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. They're ruling senselessly, foolishly. So again, it says, verse 3 in the G&T, Sirach, an uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will grow strong if its rulers are wise. The Lord sees to the government of the world, see that? And brings the right person to power at the right time. So these people are on their way out of power. No kings. No one wants them, because these people are dang wicked. This is all prophesied. Proverbs 29. And I'm going to read this in the NLT. This is verse 2. When the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in power, right, they groan. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. See that? And now that's being revealed. That's why these people acting like this. You know, the people is a byproduct of who's ruling. And obviously will be a show to show that they can't, if they can rule or not. You see? He covered the faces, and if they're about to continue ruling, he covered, so the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. This is why this is happening. It says, he covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, who and where is he? You know, and they're trying to keep us out of power, but all this is playing out because they're not supposed to be in power, and they're about to come out of power. Again, Daniel 2:21, he changed the times and the seasons. He removed kings and setteth up kings. See that? He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. So these people don't know what's going on. You know? So this is Iraq 10. I'm gonna end here at 5. In the GNT, the success of that person is in the Lord's hand. The Lord is the source of the honor given to any official. All right, jumping to the point. Verse 10. A long illness puzzles the doctor. You know, the doctor got to figure out what's going on, why the body's sick. You know, so he sits and watches, he assesses, he observes, and then he sees the fix, and he gets out. He first of all he sees the problem, and he looks to get rid of the problem. See that? So it says, even a king, read no, may be alive today and dead tomorrow. You see why? Because he might be a problem to where other parts is being affected, to where illness is going on. And that's exactly what these damn devils doing. They causing illness, they hurting the earth, they defiling everything. So they're about to be thrown down with a violent overthrow. It says when a person dies, so I'm gonna jump to the point. Matter of fact, Psalms 140 and 11, it says, I'm gonna start at 8. Grant not, O Yahweh, the desires of the wicked, further not his wicked devices, right? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, lest they exalt themselves. See, lest they go even higher and stay in power, but they being grabbed before they can get any further. You know, they think they getting away. They think they can heap the silver unto themselves. They distract the people and all that. No, y'all on y'all way out of power, right? As for the head of those that compass me about, let the mischief of their own lips cover them. So all that crafty counsel that they trying to take is about to backfire. They're trying to take against the Lord is about to backfire against them, because when you're doing things against the Lord, as a king, you are moving without wisdom, you know? And wisdom is what brings you to a kingdom. So when you reject wisdom, what happens? You get rejected from a kingdom, from being a king. You're doing things to where you're inadvertently self-sabotaging yourself. Gonna be, you know. So again, it says, let burning coals fall upon them. And it says, let them be cast into the fire, right? They're going to die in the missiles and all that, into deep pits that they rise not up again. So when these people go out of power, they never going to come back in power. This is the point. Let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. So they're going to be overthrown violently, you know? Like they show you on that movie Civil War. I know that Yahweh will maintain the cause of the afflicted and the right of the poor. Everything these people want that makes sense, and you know how they righteously want these people in power, and you know they want a better leader because these people want to be led. The Lord is gonna uphold these people in that. You see what I'm saying? It's just not gonna be this devil anymore. You know, it's gonna be us again. One who is last thought of have worn the crown, and that's what you basically seeing. You know, one that was never thought of have worn a crown. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the manifestation of that. And that's actually what I wanted to get. All right. Sirach 11 and verse 5. Many kings have sat down, right? I'm going to actually start at 4. Both not of, let's start at 3. The bee is little among such as fly, but her fruit is the chief of sweet things. So this word we got this understanding we have of what's going on and why people is messed up and why they mad and that they're gonna be further mad and how things are supposed to go and shouldn't go, thus saith the Lord. You know, this whole understanding that we have, this whole doctrine that we hold, those of the GMS church, start the other apostles, on down, is is one is something to where out of all the people that is about ruling or talks about rule, like it makes us the top. You see what I'm saying? It makes us chief. You see, to say the least. So it says, boast not. That's what this is referring to. We have the honey. The honey is good for so many different things. All right. It's sweet, helps you, it's a rejoicing, good things, symbolically being sweet. And then you get to the science of honey is good for all type of medicine. It's a medicine of the earth. You see that? But it says, boast not of thy clothing and raiment. See that? And exalt not thyself in the day of honor, because just because you look like a king, you have everything, you say you're a king, that doesn't mean you're gonna be anything esteemed. Because you might just be a fool in riches. You might be someone, or if that's all you have, you will be someone that's just dishonorable in riches versus someone that's honorable in poverty. You know, because you don't have wisdom, you don't have the knowledge, wisdom, understanding how about Shemiah Shah. So you don't want to boast of that. And then, in other words, boast not of thy clothing and raiment, and exalt thyself in the day of honor. For the works of the Lord are wonderful, and his works among men are hidden. Because you could be a king today and dead tomorrow. If the Lord is assessing that, like a doctor, you and have found that you, even being the king, because there's no respect of a person, is the cause of the illnesses that are going on. To where he will remove that king and put another one in place. So as it goes on to say, just the point, many kings have sat down upon the ground, and one that was never thought of have worn the crown. See, so it's hella people that tried to rule and came out of power, man. You know what I'm saying? And then there's always someone to replace them. There's always who the people, least expect. And this is how this is gonna play out this time. We don't even have a seat at these councils and nothing. As a nation of peoples, us Jakes, being so-called blacks, Native American Indians, so-called Latinos, you know. But anyway, because we have this knowledge, wisdom, understanding of what's going on, we're the nation that holds, we're the people that will get hold of the understanding of what's going to happen, why it's happening, and the ways of how things are supposed to go according to God, the Heavenly Father, and truth, completely, and Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah, we're going to be next. Despite we don't have anything, outside of that to, even get to that point. We don't even have nobody vouching for us. But again, like the scripture say, if God is for you, who could be against you? See that? And the Lord gonna show He's with us, a much higher power. And politically putting us in power, according to what's politically correct in this world would be, wrong. But not by the politics of Yahweh Shemiah Shah. The politics of the heavens. Because that was esteemed amongst men as abomination in the sight of God. And that, in other words, that was popular among men, popular belief. You know what I'm saying? The Lord, he thinks otherwise, it's contrary. But nonetheless, Sirach 10 and 8, because of unrighteous dealings and injuries, and riches got by deceit. See that? Like a sickness, injuries. See that? Illness. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. It gets, if that injury, illness is seen to be from a king or seen as a king, that king get removed and another king gets put in place. If that injury, sickness, illness is coming from a particular race, that race get removed and another one gets put in its place. You see that? And that's that. And this here, Sirach 10, and so you seeing the manifestation that there's no king's protest coming up. But anyway, Sirach 10 and verse, I'm going to jump to the point, 14, GNT. The Lord has overthrown kings and put humbler people in their place. The Lord has pulled up nations by the roots and established humbler ones in their place. The Lord has overthrown empires. He's been doing this. He don't change. And completely devastated their lands. He destroyed some completely, so completely that they are not even remembered anymore. The Creator never intended for human beings to be arrogant and violent. So I'm going to say, call Halam like how about Shemiah Shah. We're going to be next. Wait on the Lord. Shalom.